The notification popped up on my phone at 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday, while I was reviewing quarterly reports in my downtown office. Instagram, your sister Jessica tagged you in a post. I almost ignored it. Jessica and I hadn't spoken in 3 months, not since our explosive argument at Mom's birthday dinner where she'd accused me of being jealous of her success, and I'd finally told her what I thought of her entitled attitude and social media obsession. But curiosity won out. I opened the app. The post was a carousel of photos. Jessica lounging by the pool at her trendy West Side apartment complex, posing with her designer handbags in her walk-in closet, and raising a glass of champagne on her balcony overlooking the city. The caption made my stomach clench. Finally free from family drama. Clinking glasses sparkle. Sometimes you have to cut toxic people out of your life to find true happiness. No more negativity, no more jealousy, no more small-minded thinking. Living my best life in my gorgeous apartment, surrounded by people who actually support my dreams. Sorry not sorry. Hashtag new chapter, hashtag glow up, hashtag toxic free, hashtag living my best life. 537 likes. 84 comments. I scrolled through the responses, each one feeling like a small knife. At Brittany M92, OMG yes queen. Family can be so toxic when they can't handle your success. At Mikey, your apartment is goals. Some people are just jealous they can't afford nice things. 100 points. At Lindsay K, finally. You deserve so much better than people who bring you down. Your sister always seemed bitter anyway. Woman shrugging. At Tyler Defoe. This place is amazing. What's rent like? Must be expensive but totally worth it for someone with your income. Jessica had replied to that one. At Tyler DeVeo, it's pricey but I can handle it. Flexed biceps. Unlike some people I know who are still stuck in studio apartments. The comments went on. Friend after friend congratulating Jessica on cutting out the dead weight, and finally putting herself first. Several specifically mentioned me. Your sister never supported you anyway. She was obviously jealous. Toxic family members are the worst. I set my phone down and stared out my office window at the city skyline. The West Side Tower, Jessica's gorgeous apartment complex, was visible in the distance, its modern glass facade gleaming in the afternoon sun. I'd bought the building 18 months ago through Pacific Property Group, one of my real estate investment companies. Jessica was paying me $3,800 per month in rent to live in what she considered her sanctuary from family drama. The irony was almost too perfect. My assistant knocked and entered. Ms. Chin, your 3 p.m. is here. Thank you, Sophie. Send them in. As I conducted my meeting with potential investors for a new downtown development project, Jessica's post kept nagging at me. Not because her words hurt, though they did, but because of what they revealed about her complete lack of awareness regarding her own situation. Jessica worked in marketing for a mid-level firm, making around $70,000 a year. Good money but not designer handbags and West Side penthouses money. I'd always wondered how she afforded her lifestyle, and now I knew. She was spending almost 60% of her income on rent alone, probably maxing out credit cards for everything else. More importantly, she had no idea that her independence from family drama was being subsidized by the family member she just publicly trashed. After my meeting, I called my property management company. Pacific Property Management, this is David. Hi David, it's Amanda Chin. I need you to pull the file on Unit 2847 at West Side Tower. Of course, Ms. Chin. Give me just a moment. I could hear typing in the background. Jessica Chin, correct? Current on rent, though she's been late twice in the past 6 months. Anything specific you need to know? Has she submitted her lease renewal paperwork yet? Actually, yes. It came in yesterday. She's requesting a 2-year extension at current rates. I thought about the Instagram post still burning in my mind. The casual cruelty of publicly humiliating me to hundreds of mutual friends and acquaintances. The smug satisfaction in her voice as she'd congratulated herself for cutting out toxic people. David, I'm going to need you to deny that renewal request. Deny it? Ms. Chin, is there a specific reason? Her payment history isn't perfect, but... Personal reasons. Send her the standard non-renewal notice. 60 days as required by California law. Understood. Should I include information about other available units in our portfolio? I considered it. Jessica could probably afford one of our studio apartments in a less trendy neighborhood. It would be a significant downgrade from her current luxury one-bedroom with city views, but it would keep a roof over her head. No, I said finally. Just the standard notice. I'll have it prepared and sent out today. That evening, I found myself scrolling through Jessica's post again. The likes had climbed to over 600 and the comments kept coming. Our mutual friends were piling on, sharing their own stories of cutting out toxic family members and praising Jessica's courage. My phone rang. Amanda, honey, did you see Jessica's post? I saw it. She's really heard about your argument, you know. This is her way of processing. By publicly humiliating me to everyone we know? Mom sighed. She's young. She doesn't always think before she acts. She's 28, Mom. She's not that young. I know you two can work this out if you just talk. We tried talking. She called me jealous and small-minded. I called her spoiled and delusional. There wasn't much middle ground. What was the fight about, really? Because both of you have been vague about the details. I thought back to Mom's birthday dinner. Jessica had been going on about her investment portfolio, which turned out to be a few $100s in a trading app, and her plans to expand her brand through social media influencing. When I gently suggested she might want to focus on building more stable income first, she'd exploded. She thinks I don't support her dreams, I told Mom. I think she's living beyond her means and headed for financial trouble. You both care about each other. You just express it differently. Right now, I'm expressing it by staying away from her social media drama. Friday morning brought the confirmation I'd been expecting. Jessica's frantic phone call at 7:23 a.m. Amanda. Oh my God, Amanda, I need your help. I was at my gym finishing a workout before starting my day. Good morning, Jessica. Don't good morning me. I got an eviction notice. An eviction notice? That's serious. What did you do? I didn't do anything. The landlord is just... They're not renewing my lease. They want me out in 60 days. I toweled off my face buying time. That's terrible. Did they give a reason? No reason. Just some corporate bullshit about property management decisions. This is Pacific Property Group. They own like half the buildings in the city. They can't just kick me out for no reason. Actually, they could. California law was very clear about non-renewal of leases, and as long as proper notice was given, landlords had broad discretion. I'm sure you'll find another place, I said. Another place? Amanda, do you know what rent costs in this city? This apartment is $3,800 a month and it's barely affordable. Everything else is either more expensive or in terrible neighborhoods. Maybe it's time to consider a smaller place. Or a roommate. A roommate? Amanda, I'm not 22 anymore. I have a professional image to maintain. I can't be living with some random stranger in a shared apartment. I almost pointed out that she'd been living beyond her means in an apartment she couldn't actually afford, but I held back. What do you want me to do, Jessica? Can you lend me money for a security deposit? Most places want first month, last month, and security. We're talking about $10,000 minimum. $10,000. I know it's a lot, but I'm desperate. I've been calling places all morning and everything in my price range has waiting lists. I might have to move to like Van Nuys or something. The horror in her voice at the prospect of living in a perfectly decent but less trendy neighborhood would have been funny if the situation wasn't so ironic. Jessica, when you posted that Instagram about being finally free from family drama, what exactly did you mean? Silence. What does that have to do with anything? I'm just curious. You seemed pretty committed to cutting toxic people out of your life. Amanda, this isn't the time. You got 500 likes on that post. Lots of comments about how smart you were to get away from negative family members. Look, I was upset about our fight, okay? I maybe said some things I didn't mean. Like calling me jealous and small-minded? You were being judgmental about my lifestyle choices. Your lifestyle choices that you apparently can't afford without borrowing money from the toxic family members you publicly humiliated? Another long silence. Are you going to help me or not? I looked around the gym at the other early morning exercisers focused on their workouts, their goals, their self-improvement. People taking responsibility for their own lives instead of expecting others to bail them out of problems they'd created. No, I said. I'm not going to help you. What? Amanda, I'm your sister. According to your Instagram post, I'm a toxic person you needed to cut out of your life for your mental health and personal growth. I didn't mean. You meant it when you posted it. You meant it when you replied to comments trashing me. You meant it when you let our mutual friends pile on with their own stories about toxic family members. Jessica started crying. Amanda, please. I'm scared. I don't know what I'm going to do. Figure it out. You're finally free from family drama, remember? You can handle it. I hung up. The rest of Friday passed normally. I had 3 property development meetings, reviewed architectural plans for a new mixed-use building in Santa Monica, and approved the quarterly distribution for my investors. Pacific Property Group was having one of its best years ever, with occupancy rates above 95% across our portfolio. Around 6 p.m., Sophie brought me a stack of documents to sign. Oh, she said, David from Property Management called. He said the tenant at Westside Tower Unit 2847 has been calling all day asking to speak with building ownership about her lease situation. What did he tell her? That Pacific Property Group doesn't negotiate lease renewals directly with tenants. All communication goes through property management. Good. Should I expect more calls? Probably. Just stick to the standard policy. That weekend my phone exploded with messages from family members. Jessica had apparently reached out to everyone, painting herself as the victim of a heartless landlord and her equally heartless sister who'd refused to help in her time of need. Mom called Saturday morning. Amanda, you have to help Jessica. She's beside herself. She'll figure it out. She can't afford to move. These deposits and fees, it's thousands of dollars she doesn't have. Maybe she should have thought about that before spending 60% of her income on an apartment she couldn't afford. That's cruel. Is it? Or is it realistic? Mom, Jessica makes $70,000 a year and she's been living like she makes twice that. This was always going to catch up with her. She just needs help getting back on her feet. She needs to learn to live within her means. Bailing her out now just enables the same behavior that got her into this mess. What happened to family helping family? I thought about Jessica's Instagram post, still live and still accumulating likes and supportive comments about cutting out toxic relatives. Ask Jessica. She seems to have strong opinions about family loyalty. Sunday brought a text from my cousin Mike. Heard about Jess's situation. Can you really not help her out? She's family. I screenshot Jessica's Instagram post and sent it to him, highlighting the caption and top comments. Mike's response came quickly. Oh shit. I didn't see this. That's, wow. Yeah. But still she's in a bad spot. She put herself in this spot. And she publicly trashed me while doing it. Maybe she learned her lesson? We'll see. Monday morning, Sophie informed me that Jessica had called the office 4 times over the weekend, trying to reach me directly. She says it's a family emergency, Sophie said. All family emergencies should go through my personal number, not the office. Please remind her of that if she calls again. Of course. Also, Pacific Property Management wants to confirm the move-out inspection schedule for Unit 2847. The tenant has been asking about extending the notice period. No extensions. 60 days as required by law. That afternoon, Jessica tried a different approach. She showed up at my office. Miss Chin. Sophie's voice came through the intercom. Your sister is here. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says it's urgent. I looked at my calendar. I had 30 minutes before my next meeting. Send her in. Jessica entered my office looking like she hadn't slept in days. Her usually perfect hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail, her designer outfit wrinkled and coffee-stained. She clutched a folder of papers against her chest. Amanda, thank God. I've been trying to reach you. I've been working. This is where I work. She looked around my office. The floor-to-ceiling windows, the polished conference table, the architectural models of current development projects. I could see her taking in the obvious signs of success. The expensive furniture, the awards on the walls, the view of the city skyline. I didn't realize your office was so big. What do you need, Jessica? She sat down across from my desk, opening her folder. I've been researching Pacific Property Group, the company that owns my building. My expression remained neutral. Okay. They own 23 buildings across the city. Mostly luxury properties. They're worth like hundreds of millions of dollars. That sounds about right for a major property management company. Amanda, I need your help figuring out who owns this company. If I could talk to them directly, maybe explain my situation. Jessica, property management companies don't negotiate individual leases based on personal appeals. It's business, not personal. But this feels personal. She pulled out a printed copy of her lease non-renewal notice. Look at this. No reason given. No opportunity to negotiate. They just want me gone. I looked at the notice, recognizing David's efficient formatting and corporate language. It looks standard to me. Standard? Amanda, this is my life. This is my home. It's a rental property. You don't own it. I've been a good tenant. I pay my rent, I don't cause problems. You've been late on rent twice in 6 months. Jessica's eyes widened. How do you know that? I realized my mistake immediately. That's probably why they're not renewing. Late payments are a red flag for property managers. But I caught up both times. I explained the situations. Jessica, look. Maybe this is a sign that you need to find more affordable housing. Something that fits your actual budget instead of your Instagram aesthetic. Her face flushed red. This is about my Instagram post, isn't it? What? You're still mad about what I posted. That's why you won't help me. I'm not helping you because you publicly humiliated me while simultaneously living a lifestyle you can't afford. The Instagram post just made it clear where your priorities are. I was hurt. I was processing our fight publicly, which maybe wasn't smart, but you called me toxic. You let our friends trash me in the comments. You celebrated cutting me out of your life. Jessica looked down at her hands. I know. I was wrong. Were you? Because you seemed pretty certain at the time. I was angry. People say things when they're angry. People reveal their true feelings when they're angry. She looked up, tears starting to form. Amanda, I'm sorry. I really am. I shouldn't have posted that. I shouldn't have let people talk about you that way. I shouldn't have any of it. Okay. So will you help me? I studied my sister's face. The desperation, the fear, the dawning realization that her choices had consequences she wasn't prepared for. What exactly are you asking me to do? Lend me the money for deposits on a new apartment. Or maybe talk to the specific property group? You know people in real estate, right? Maybe you could put in a word. The irony was overwhelming. Jessica was asking me to intercede with my own company to save her from the consequences of publicly disowning me. Jessica, let me ask you something. If the situation was reversed, if I needed help and I'd just spent a week publicly calling you toxic and telling everyone I was better off without you, would you help me? She was quiet for a long moment. Probably not, she admitted. Probably not. But Amanda, I don't have anywhere else to go. Mom and Dad can't afford to help. Our aunts and uncles. They all saw the post too. I burned a lot of bridges. Yes, you did. I made a mistake. A big, stupid public mistake. But I'm still your sister. I looked at her sitting across from my desk, clutching her folder of apartment listings and legal notices. 3 months ago she'd been so confident in her success, her independence, her ability to cut out anyone who didn't support her vision of herself. Now she was facing the reality that her lifestyle had been built on credit cards and an apartment she couldn't actually afford, in a building owned by the sister she'd publicly disowned. My phone buzzed with a text from David at Property Management. Unit 2847 tenant called again asking about lease extension options. Should I set up payment plan for additional deposit? I typed back, no extensions. Standard 60-day notice stands. Jessica noticed me texting. Is that work? Yes. Amanda, I know I don't deserve your help. But I'm desperate. I've learned my lesson about living beyond my means, about burning bridges, about taking family for granted. Have you? Yes. This whole situation has been a wake-up call. I can't afford my current lifestyle. I need to make changes. What kind of changes? Smaller apartment. Budget for real this time. Maybe get a roommate after all. Delete some of the social media stuff that got me into trouble. It was a start. But was it genuine growth or just desperation talking? Jessica, I want you to do something for me. Anything. I want you to post an apology. Public on Instagram. Admit that you were wrong about family being toxic. Apologize for the hurtful things you said. and acknowledge that you're facing consequences for poor financial decisions. Her face went pale. Amanda, that would be humiliating. More humiliating than asking the sister you publicly trashed to bail you out of a mess you created? But my followers, my image. Your image is built on lies, Jessica. You're not successful enough to afford your lifestyle. You're not independent enough to solve your own problems. And you're not strong enough to cut ties with family when you need them. She sat in silence, processing. If I do this, if I post an apology, will you help me? I thought about it. The apology would be satisfying, but it wouldn't address the fundamental problem. Jessica needed to learn to live within her means and take responsibility for her choices. I'll make you a deal, I said finally. I'll help you find an apartment you can actually afford. Something in your real budget range, not your Instagram budget range. I'll even cover the deposits and moving costs. Relief flooded her face. Thank you, Amanda, thank you so much. I'm not finished. In exchange, you post the apology, you delete the original post, and you work with a financial advisor to create a realistic budget and debt reduction plan. A financial advisor? Jessica, you're 28 and you have no savings, maxed out credit cards, and you've been spending 60% of your income on rent. You need professional help. She nodded reluctantly. Hey, I can do that. And one more thing. What? I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram, navigating to her finally free from family drama post. Still had over 700 likes. I want you to read the caption of your post out loud. Amanda. Read it. She looked at my phone screen, her face flushing with embarrassment. Finally free from family drama, she began quietly. Sometimes you have to cut toxic people out of your life to find true happiness. No more negativity, no more jealousy, no more small-minded thinking. Her voice trailed off. Keep going. Living my best life in my gorgeous apartment, surrounded by people who actually support my dreams. Sorry, not sorry. She looked up at me with tears in her eyes. Jessica, do you understand why I'm not just handing you $10,000 to fix this problem? Because I was cruel, and stupid, and ungrateful. Because you need to learn that actions have consequences. That you can't publicly burn bridges and then expect people to rebuild them for you when it's convenient. She nodded. But I'm still your sister, I continued. And I want to help you build a sustainable life, not just bail you out of this crisis. What about my lease? The 60 days. I looked at my watch. It was almost time for my next meeting. I'll see what I can do about getting you an extension while you apartment hunt. But Jessica, this is your last chance. No more living beyond your means, no more social media drama, no more expecting family to clean up messes you create. I understand. After she left, I called David at Property Management. David, it's Amanda. About Unit 2847. I want to offer the tenant a 6-month lease extension at a reduced rate. $2,800 per month. $2,800? That's $1,000 below market rate. I know. Call it a family discount. Family. The tenant is my sister. She's going through some personal growth. Should I mention the family connection when I call her with the offer? No. Let her think Pacific Property Group is just being generous. She'll figure out the rest eventually. Understood. Anything else? Yes. Send her information about our financial counseling program. We offer it to tenants who want help with budgeting and debt management. I'll include it with the lease extension paperwork. That evening, Jessica called me, crying with relief and gratitude. Amanda, you're not going to believe this. Pacific Property Group offered me a lease extension at a lower rent. It's like a miracle. That's great, Jess. I don't understand why they changed their mind, but I'm not questioning it. And they included information about financial counseling, which honestly I think I need. It sounds like things are working out. Amanda, I know you said you'd see what you could do, but this seems like more than just seeing. Do you have connections I don't know about? I looked out my apartment window at the city skyline, at the buildings I owned and the developments I was planning. In 6 months, when Jessica had stabilized her finances and hopefully learned some hard lessons about living within her means, maybe I'd tell her the truth about Pacific Property Group. Or maybe I'd let her figure it out on her own. I made some calls, I said simply. Family helping family. Even after what I did. Even after how horrible I was. Especially after. That's what family does, Jessica. We help each other grow even when it's hard. I'm going to delete that post tonight. And write a real apology. Good. And Amanda, thank you for everything. I know I don't deserve it. You're my sister, I said. You don't have to deserve it. You just have to learn from it. The next morning, Jessica's Instagram showed a new post. A simple text image with no filters, no hashtags, and no posed photos. I owe my family, especially my sister, an apology. I let hurt feelings turn into cruel words, and I publicly trashed someone who has always supported me. I was wrong about family being toxic. The toxic behavior was mine. I'm working on being a better person and making better choices. Thank you to everyone who still believes in second chances. I got 43 likes and 12 comments, mostly from family members and a few genuine friends offering support. The original post was gone. 6 months later, Jessica had paid down half her credit card debt, built up a small emergency fund, and started a side business doing social media marketing for small local companies, actual income-generating work instead of lifestyle influencing. She still didn't know that Pacific Property Group belonged to me. But she did know that family meant showing up for each other even when, especially when, it was hard to do. And sometimes, that knowledge was worth more than any amount of money or real estate.